A week ago, a court in New York City threw out a series of climate change lawsuits that had been filed by the city against oil companies, asking them to pay for the damage that they helped contribute to by contributing to climate change. They wanted the oil companies, these multi-billion-dollar entities, to pay for the damage they'd caused, right? Judge throws out the lawsuits in New York about a week or two after a judge in California did the same thing, when we had about 12 to 14 cities in California suing oil companies because the cities were having to pay to mitigate climate change. They were having to pay for things like sea level rise and increased hospitalizations due to pollution. They wanted the oil companies, who are partially responsible for this, to pay their fair share. And so far, these lawsuits are getting thrown out of court left and right. Why? In both instances, we're talking about different judges here. The judges said because the issue of climate change and addressing climate change, that's something Congress needs to do. That's not something the court system needs to do. Let me tell you something. You know why we don't have lead paint in this country anymore? Yeah, it's because Congress enacted legislation, but do you know why they did? Because of all the lawsuits against them. Do you know why there's warning labels on cigarettes? Because Congress passed a law. Do you know why Congress passed a law? Because of all the lawsuits. I mean, the list is endless here, right? Yes, we're still importing asbestos, but there is a, national asbestos fund for the people who are getting mesothelioma from it. There are so many other instances where these things arise in the courts, brought by trial lawyers, to make things right, to protect American citizens. So for these judges to say that, no, the courts can't handle this, this is something that needs to be done through legislation, first and foremost, you're 100% wrong, because this is how most major consumer protections have happened in this country. And two, have you paid attention to this Congress? Do you know what they're doing? Because I do, and most of us do, and the answer is nothing. On the issue of climate change, they're doing nothing. Yeah, we just got rid of Scott Pruitt, who was one of the most anti-environmental heads of the EPA we've ever had. And now we've got an actual coal lobbyist sitting in there right now as the acting head of the EPA, Andrew Wheeler. Things for the environment are getting worse than ever. This administration, the president himself, once called climate change a hoax by the Chinese. They're not going to do anything about it. The majority of people, their representative in this country is a climate change denier. The majority of people in this country are represented in Congress by somebody who either thinks that climate change isn't real or that we shouldn't do anything about it. So yeah, the majority of us, we got somebody in Congress who doesn't think it's a big deal or that it's even a deal. So why? Why would these courts tell us that we have to rely on Congress? The people that are bought and paid for by the fossil fuel industry, by the frackers, by the coal companies that are going bankrupt left and right, but they still have enough money to give to politicians. None of this makes any sense. We are living in upside down, topsy-turvy, crazy land. And these judges who are supposed to help us and protect us say, no, you're going to have to go deal with those crazy people up on Capitol Hill. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Farron, Farron, Balanced, at Farron Balanced. I am Farron Cousins, sitting in for David Pakman today, and we'll be right back.
Today's program is sponsored in part by Blinkist.com/Pakman. If you've not already heard about Blinkist, it's amazing. It's an app for your phone, tablet, or web browser. And what they do is they take nonfiction books, popular nonfiction, critically acclaimed nonfiction. They condense the book into a 15-minute audiobook. You get all the most important information and insights from each book, but you can soak up the entire essence of the book in one sitting. I've listened to a ton of books on Blinkist. One recent one is Robert Reich's new book, The Common Good. Also Bunk by Kevin Young, useful in preparing me for the pseudoscience miniseries that we're producing. And if you are a David Pakman Show viewer or listener, you can get a 7-day free trial by going to Blinkist.com/Pakman. If you're watching on YouTube, use the link in the video description. After the free trial, if you like it, you can get the full access to thousands of condensed audiobooks for about $5 a month. That's BLINKIST.com/PAKMAN.